Welcome to our channel. Most of us have probably heard about sleep paralysis. People experiencing sleep paralysis often liken it to a situation where one wakes up dead in a grave. The mind is active, but the body cannot move. References to this intriguing condition can be found in centuries-old texts, yet even modern experts are not precisely sure why it happens to some, what causes it, and how to effectively defend against it. In today's video, we will explore 10 different theories associated with this phenomenon. But before we delve into that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And without further delay, let's get started. The first theory is the American theory associated with alien abductions. Approximately 4 million Americans believe that they have been or are regularly abducted by aliens during their lifetime. They describe situations where they suddenly wake up in the middle of the night and realize they are unable to make the slightest movement. They lie there as if petrified, unable to scream, only helplessly perceiving how an increasing fear permeates their body, soon followed by a sense of absolute horror. That's when they realize they are not alone in the room, and something is slowly approaching them. It is the moment they would like to wake up with a scream from the nightmare. But it doesn't end. Instead of relief, they hear a growing hum, are blinded by a bright light, their chest crushed by an unbearable weight, and a stabbing pain shoots into their limbs. Then they wake up back in their bed, completely drained, soaked in sweat. The described symptoms align with both alleged victims of alien abductions and people experiencing sleep paralysis. Perhaps all those who claim to have been abducted are simply ensnared by the terrifying sleep disorder. Or do beings from other worlds truly play a role here? Another theory is the Christian theory associated with demonic possession. In many countries, sleep paralysis is associated with witchcraft and various entities sitting on your chest at night, and this idea is not pleasant at all. However, perhaps even more terrifying is the possibility that some demonic entity could burden not only your body but also your mind and soul. According to accounts, this is exactly what happens in cases where exorcists, also known as devil expellers, must be called upon. Unfortunate individuals who had to undergo the ritual of exorcism when prayers from loved ones no longer helped include a significant number throughout the history of Christianity, and this includes cases related to sleep paralysis. During the exorcism ritual, a trained priest tries to compel the creature of darkness to leave the body it has possessed. However, it does not always end well, as we know from the modern era of this controversial practice. Hopefully, this is just a misconception in this context as well, because one can wake up from sleep paralysis, but escaping from demonic possession, it seems, is not so easily achieved. Another theory is the Egyptian theory claiming that genies are responsible for sleep paralysis. In fairy tales, we mostly know genii as good-natured, joking characters who joyfully fulfill a few wishes for their masters. However, according to Egyptian folklore, they are not just singing inhabitants of magic lamps, and they are not always so generous. In Egypt, it is believed in connection with sleep paralysis that it is caused by genies, ancient spirits who come to people during their REM sleep phase, where we have the most dreams. It's as if during that time, a portal leading between our world and the world of much more powerful, frightening beings was open. Even if genie didn't exist at all, Egyptians reportedly have a tremendous fear of them. In the folklore of the Canadian indigenous Inuit, it is believed that sleep paralysis is the result of curses from tribal shamans. According to their traditions, the spells and incantations of these shamans prevent movement and simultaneously induce hallucinations and a state of indescribable horror in a person. Inuit people have their own names for sleep paralysis, calling it either ukumangirnik or aktuksinik. According to their beliefs, the human soul is more vulnerable during sleep than in a waking state. Therefore, shamans attempt to attack individuals with their incantations during this time, leading to the feared sleep paralysis. Researchers have found that contemporary Inuit people also consider this type of paralysis to fall into the realm of supernatural phenomena, reinforcing their belief in the existence of a spirit world and demons. Perhaps, in the end, it is their strong faith in the supernatural world that makes it easier for night terrors to visit them. While in most countries around the world, victims of sleep paralysis face faceless and nameless demonic beings, in Brazil, the origin of nighttime terror has a specific name: pisadeira. Translated from Portuguese, it means the one who steps. In Brazilian folklore, pisadeira is often described as a typical witch, an evil hag with magical powers. Allegedly, during the night, she roams across the roofs of houses, and when she notices a sleeper lying on their back, she enters the room and starts stepping on their chest. This description again fits, as among people suffering from sleep paralysis, those who actually fall asleep on their backs are most common. The overwhelming pressure on the chest is mentioned as one of the main accompanying phenomena of their night terrors. However, since sleep paralysis is known throughout the world, it seems that the version with the Brazilian hag pisadeira, likely traveling to all corners of the globe, may not be grounded in reality. In Japan, sleep paralysis is referred to as kanashibari, and the term originates from a medieval incantation known as kanashibari no ho. Breaking it down, kana translates to metal in English, and shibari means to bind or to tie up. Literally, it can be translated as binding someone with metal chains. As we know, the inability to move is often a key characteristic of sleep paralysis. In ancient texts, it is said that priests from the Shugendo order, mountain ascetics who practice extreme self-discipline to progress in spiritual life, possess the ability to control such power. Surprisingly, these monks were believed to use the paralyzing spell, not only for sleep paralysis, but also to ward off evil spirits, as if these spirits emerged from the shadows during sleep paralysis. In the Canadian province of Newfoundland, the demon associated with sleep paralysis has a specific name: the Old Hag. This entity is akin to a hag, an evil old woman, and bears resemblance to the distant relative known as the Brazilian pisadeira. Much like the Brazilian counterpart, the Old Hag ensures that individuals lying on their backs at night are immobilized, unable to move, breathe, or call for help due to the weight pressing on their chests. The origin of this legend dates back to the late 19th century, when an article discussing the phenomenon of sleep paralysis was published in an American folklore journal. Even today, the inhabitants of Newfoundland take precautions, choosing to sleep on their stomachs to safeguard against the menacing presence of the Old Hag lurking in the darkness. The prevailing belief is that this spectral horror is not merely a product of bad dreams. Rather, it is considered a genuine entity. We have pondered over genies, extraterrestrials, witches, and demons, yet our list is still missing the most well-known inhabitants of the paranormal world: ghosts. In Cambodia and throughout Southeast Asia, belief in them is deeply rooted, and they are also considered the culprits behind sleep paralysis. Not just any ghosts, specifically referred to as spirits pressing you down. This relates to the sensation of something weighing on your chest or directly stepping on it, making it difficult to breathe, causing pain, and simultaneously rendering you unable to move. In Cambodia, there is no belief that the occurrence of this sleep disorder is related to a brain or sleeping position error. It is simply seen as a matter of luck, whether the spirits choose to avoid you or visit you during the night. The feeling of unbearable heaviness on the chest is one of the manifestations of sleep paralysis, for which, as of now, science seems to lack an explanation. In the Italian regions of Marche and Abruzzo, there is a belief that sleep paralysis is caused by attacks from a creature named Pandafece. According to legends, Pandafece takes on various forms, each more terrifying than the other. Some liken it to a witch, others to a specter, and a few even describe it as a frightening cat-like creature. Unlike other sleep paralysis demons, Pandafece supposedly can be defended against. The ancient theory suggests that by placing a pile of sand next to your bed, Pandafece will not initiate its attack on your sleep until it counts all the grains of sand. The larger the pile, the better the defense. It's challenging to say how much this old wives' tale will truly protect you from the horrors of sleep paralysis. Unfortunately, effective remedies against it are scarce. Western science and medicine view various folkloric and supernatural explanations for sleep paralysis with great skepticism. Instead, they propose their own explanation for these terrifying nocturnal experiences. It is believed to result from an imbalance of neurochemicals in our brain. According to their findings, During the REM phase of sleep, the brain releases substances that immobilize our bodies, preventing us from harming ourselves during various vivid dreams, for example. However, sometimes an error in this process can occur, where our consciousness wakes up, but the body remains paralyzed. At that moment, the individual is aware that they are awake, yet they are still in the REM phase of sleep, and dreams, especially nightmares, are just beginning. Therefore, these dreams do not occur solely in the individual's mind, but unfold directly in front of their eyes. It is a frightening and perhaps the most plausible explanation. That's all from us for today. If you're interested in videos filled with mysterious mysteries, dark stories, legends, or monsters, and you crave more, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any new videos.